Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. Guess what? My wife came back.
Hi.
So we're up north on a lake fishing and hot tenting. Guess what? It's all set up. It's nice and toasty inside. You gonna join us for some action or what? Yes?
Yeah.
So I think on our way out, we'll take you guys down to their survival shelter. We made just around the corner here. Have a peek. We'll leave our sleds up here. We got another line down, which is not surprising. It's like non-stop line down, but some people say I look like Tormund from Game of Thrones. So back by popular demand, my wife. So we decided to go easy. We went to Puddle Lake number 2. It was only 7 hours to get in.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Okay, so we didn't do that. We went to easy put and take. We call them put and take lakes in Ontario because the government puts in and we take out, or we try anyway. Basically what that means is they stock the lake with fingerlings, about 6 inches or so every spring. Some lakes rotating every other year, and they basically want us to put pressure on these lakes rather than the natural lakes such as Puddle Lake. For obvious reasons, they want to maintain the stock in the back lakes and add the pressure to these easy to access lakes. Keeps the economy going. People are out spending money on gas, driving around and buying stuff from the bait shops, attracting people up north basically to come fish. So we are going to set up the hot tent, shovel out a spot here. We're going to spend the night and hopefully do a little bit of relaxing, although I would not count on that. But it's certainly going to be easier than making a shelter all day and trying to catch food. So obviously we brought a pile load of stuff and 2 sleds still. Quite a bit of stuff to stay comfortable. We've got some cots I want to show you guys, and we're going to cook up some snowshoe hare that we co-caught. Courtney actually helped catch an animal this time. So stay tuned, I'm going to tell you about that. That's a pretty interesting and exciting story. Like shoveling the driveway?
Just like shoveling the driveway.
You shovel the driveway?
Sometimes I do. Before I go to work, I do.
So just shoving out a pretty big area, bigger area than we think. And last time we had some problems with slush forming. We'll probably have the same problem this time. But we're not staying for 2 nights. It's not going to be a big issue. Probably won't have very much of a fire either. Certainly not like an ongoing fire like we had last time. We have 2 cots this time too. So that's going to get us up above any slush that forms in there. So I'm not ridiculously worried about any of that stuff this time. And the thing about this lake is there's no campsites on shore at all. So there's not an option to camp off the ice. So we're doing it on the ice. Some of you guys asked questions about whether it was safe to camp on the ice, meaning like would we fall through? No. it's impossible for us to follow through because there's 2 feet of ice. As you know, heat rises, so there's no way that we can burn a hole down that deep in the time that we have. The heat's going to continuously rise, and so anything below it, yes, there's going to be some heat down at the bottom, but not enough to melt all the way through. Now, if we did a different story, if we were trying to go up, yeah, of course we could go up. It's the same principle as making that big mortar pestle I did a while ago. Burning down to the mortar pestle was a challenge because the heat would always want to rise, so I had to drive the heat down to make the big mortar pestle. So if you want to go back and look at that, and that took me about 2 days to build that. So boring down was pretty tricky because I had to go down. So heat goes up, guys. So we don't have to worry too much about that. And like I said, there's 2 feet of ice. That's a lot of ice. So the hot tent set up pretty easy. It's helpful if you have 2 people. So put it approximately where we want. Courtney will grab 2 poles. I'll grab 2. There's one end solid, and there's a hollow end. The hollow end obviously goes in the end here, and on the other side, and it's just held in by gravity, so kind of have to keep it all together at the same time. You know, last time I did it by myself, and so it wanted to fall apart, so we just leave it like that. It should stay, and then we're going to put the canvas over top, and that'll hold it together. Alright, so Courtney's going to show how it fits together. The bottom corners just have a shoe here, and then that will go just over top.
Oh, I don't know if I'm strong enough. Yeah, I got it.
Shove it in the hair, and then that makes it all taut on the one side. And I already did this side here. You can see the bottom back here is still loose. Let's see if Courtney can do this side here. Just gonna find that bottom corner, the shoe, and then stretch everything out. There we go, and then one corner left. Alright, now we just got to do, there's some guy outs here with a rope and a couple other bars on either side, and there's actually one here even at the back. So 2 sides in the back. The chimney is going to be over here, and the wind is coming sort of off the lake toward us, so that's going to blow, you see it'll blow kind of this way here into the woods, and we won't get a strong wind coming from that direction because there's a wood backdrop here. So if we set it up correctly, we should be all right this time. We don't have a lot of wind anyway, not like last time. So there's a skirt, a black skirt here that runs the length. So just throw a bit of snow on there, that'll stop the drafts from coming in and hold the tent down. I contacted a company, so I want to show you what I got. It's called Teton. It's a company out of the United States. They make or manufacture a cot. So as you know, last time on our trip with Jeremy, or my trip anyway, with Jeremy, we had lots of problems with slush. And Jeremy did actually want to bring a cot out with him, but we couldn't because of the weight. And so these cots are not designed for backcountry camping at all. They're for you know, hunt camp if you have a hot tent there, for a cabin, for car camping. They're they're 20 pounds, so they're not super heavy, but 20 pounds is a heck of a lot of weight when you multiply that by 2.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy. So it's not something you're going to be lugging around with you. It makes a good second bed for a house. Show you a little bit about them. This comes in a bag for carrying, and the setup's pretty easy too. So there's 2 extra bars, which are the trickiest part. I'll show you those after. So it pretty much comes assembled as you see it, wrapped. So out of the way, that's going to fold out. And round, all the way around and up. Okay, now we're gonna flip it over. So we're gonna grab the 2 ends here, separate that. Okay, so we want to make sure the legs are all the way out. Now, these have a little catch here. All you do is line the catch up in the front, 2 sides, that's it. And then the same thing on the back. So that's the basic orientation. Now, take them out. You're going to thread them through the ends here, like so. And they're going to latch on the back here. But you don't want to latch them yet. So just put them in loose. Starters. Now what you are going to do is make it taut. So they have this in the instructions. So you're going to go the red one here. There's a red doohickey here. It's going to come last. So you're going to go opposite. You're going to go this one here, then that one. Yeah. Okay. Then second last one here. You can feel it getting tighter now. And then this little red thing here is meant to help you. I am actually strong enough, I don't need the red thing. But
I would need the red thing.
you put in the red thing here, and that will help you guide and lock it in. And then it drops out of place, and you have a nice tight cot. This cot is rated to 400 pounds. So you can basically fit 2 lean people on there if you wanted to try. You wanna go?
Yeah.
So the idea is you don't want to sit on the edges because that could bend, but as long as you're sitting anywhere on the canvas, you're good to go. Comfy?
Comfy.
And I think the measurements for this is the adventurer cot. There's a extra large one too there, and then there's a super light one, which is semi-packable. I wouldn't say it's totally packable, but it's definitely lighter.
What a great company.
So what do you think?
This is awesome.
So we got 2 of those. I'm doing something a little bit different this time with the skid logs. Got 4 skid logs out down front here, a reflector, and Courtney's working on some boughs out here. So we're going to stuff all those around the stove. All these boughs here around the stove. Hopefully we don't melt through. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's better than last time, but I think we still need some more. Stove's nice and solid here, which is nice. And if we get a little bit more here, then this is the area where we found the worst of it. Most of the water would pool up in this sort of area here, and then the stove would sink. So try to prevent that. Bought a lot of luxury items this time. One of them is a chair. But when you bring lots of stuff, you pay the price, because you have to take care of it when you bring it and carry it around. You set it up, bring it home, unpack it. So you got to decide if you really want that chair when you bring the chair. I don't like any of those hooks. I got a new pack of hooks, and I took all the hooks off of these. These I would consider a luxury item too, because they're so big and bulky, but they work so well, as you've seen, that it's hard to justify not bringing them. So I'm going to rig all these up, and then we're going to punch a bunch of holes, and we're going to be officially fishing. I would ordinarily set my lines right away. I did want to make sure that the tent was set up, the stove was set up. I did want to make sure that comforts were first rather than fishing. And you buy hooks from the store, you might test them on your fingernail, and if they stick, they're sharp, but I still don't trust that. So I bring a stone with me because I don't like to miss fish. The hardest thing about fishing is to get the fish to bite. So what you don't want to do is spoil the opportunity by getting a really bad hook set. So I'll double sharpen all my hooks, because in the long run, that extra moment that it takes you to sharpen your hook will pay you back in a fish every time. So I don't care if they're brand new or not, sharpen every hook. Okay, so we got a couple more lines to do. We're gonna punch a couple holes once we get our energy back, and we'll be fishing. Yeah, it's got it. I'll let it go a little bit longer this time. That's 2 runs. There we go. Now we got it.
Nicely done. Oh.
Little perch. No wonder we had problems. Another perch. I got caught on the bottom of the ice. Another perch. I had to go most of the way around the lake to find a pretty dead, I think it's a pine, because I found some fatwood, which is, if you don't know, it's like the resinous part of the pine. And I've got a couple pieces buried, so I'll show you that in a second, but they burn really well. They can actually start from just basically flame, a little bit of flame, and it'll burn constantly because it's so full of oil. So I have to dig some out and show you. So there's a nice nice big hunk of fatwood. That looks like it's wet, but it's not. It's actually just straight up pine pitch oil. It smells really good too. That's a nice piece of fatwood. If I did shavings like that and put a ferro rod in there, that would light right up. Pretty cool stuff, straight up oil. So once we throw that in the fire, that's going to burn really well too. And you can see it's basically where it was attached to the main stump. I cut that off, and once I cut one off, I knew I had to keep looking. So I found a bunch like that. Pretty neat stuff, good find. Oh, it's too hot in there.
Maybe for you. Lovely.
There, it's almost like home now.
Yeah. Nice and cozy.
You gotta start that rabbit stew soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's warm, eh?
It's nice and warm.
It can become unbearably warm too.
For you.
Yeah, it can get pretty hot in here. So we got a bunch of ingredients to make a rabbit stew. We're getting a little bit better at making stew and stuff. Cooking generally, usually just slop it together, right? So, you want to talk about what we got?
Celery.
Cut
Am I
up.
throwing it in yet?
Go ahead, throw it in.
Alright.
So a bunch of celery. We have an onion. We haven't cut that up yet. We have our root vegetable, potato, carrots. We have a couple bay leaves we'll throw in. You want to tell the story?
The rabbit story?
Yeah.
I'll chime in when necessary.
We're also going to throw in some tomato juice. So, of course, we also have, as always, a snowshoe hare. So, I took Courtney out the other day and we went to a favorite spot that I like to snare hare in. And as we were walking out, I told her, stop right now, there's a hare, a snowshoe hare, and it's staring right at us. And you should be able to see it. So she stood there for a while, we stood there for a while before she noticed. And she said, I'm actually kind of embarrassed because I should see it, but I don't. But I had seen it for a long time before anyway, and I had better vantage points. So anyway, eventually Courtney got her hunter eye, and she spotted it. So the plan then was to set some snares up around the hare on its prominent trail so that when it left, I would be able to snare it and then come back the next day and pick it up. That was the idea. So I went up next to it, Courtney filmed me, and I set up a snare on one of the roots and then tried to see if I got a little bit closer to set up on the other side. And then the rabbit started walking a little bit, just not taking off real fast, but just kind of taking off. And so, you know, kind of the jig was up at that point. So I went and I set up another snare on the exit route, and then we kind of tracked it because we wanted to see where it ended up. And then I noticed that it was kind of going toward another set of snares I had set up down in the lower part. So I thought, okay, get Courtney on one side, I'll go on the other side, and we'll try to funnel it down and push it through another snare and then get it right there. Well, when it got into a bunch of brush, I spotted it down in the brush and I said, it's right below me. And so I had to make my way around. Well, then it turned back the other way,
Mm-hmm.
went back up the hill, and I'm like, watch this. And I think I said it on camera. It's going right toward the other snare. And then what happened?
And then I saw it in the snare. It
So-
actually happened.
So Courtney saw it in the snare. And then what'd you do?
I left.
She didn't laugh.
I left.
She left.
I had to go. I
You
had
had to
things
go.
to do.
So she said, what do you want to do with the camera? And I said, oh, just give me the camera. So I went up, and basically I made the snare work more efficiently, if you catch my drift. So we caught this hare together. We tag teamed. So this is actually the first time, besides catching a fish, that Courtney's ever actively killed an animal. And how did you feel?
It was more passive.
No,
Like-
that's active. Like, you set the snare. We set the snare. You pushed it into the snare.
So I got the excitement, I guess, of chasing it,
Pursuing. Yeah.
pursuing it. But then once it was caught, I didn't really want anything to do with it.
So if you don't know the backstory, I used Courtney's gloves. They were marked gloves. Courtney's gloves, Courtney only, on a video. I don't think you watched this one, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
So this other video is somebody asked me how to be an ASSHOLE, how to be an A, and he said, well, how do you do that? How do you balance that with being a nice guy? And so I kind of expressed how I think you should do it. And it basically, I didn't say be an A, I said be a guy who has an edge. And you would agree that guys have to have an edge?
Sure.
You can't be a complete nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to balance your nice guy-ness with having the edge. And if you can't do that, then you get yourself into trouble in a long-term relationship, obviously, because women are not A's. Sometimes you guys are A's. And if you can't back that up, if I can't back myself up and stand my position against somebody who's being an A, every once in a while,
I don't know where this is going.
I'm saying men have to be an equal amount A as they are a nice guy, is what I'm saying. And I'm going to share a reader comment after the video, because I think he did a better job than I did of explaining the balance you have to be between being an A, being a nice guy, and having an edge. So anyway, what happened after I used the gloves? You guys said I shouldn't use the gloves because that was a complete A move, and it was a complete A move, but I didn't use the gloves because I think you should use the gloves, because I wanted to show what you should be able to do in a relationship. Anyway, so what happened to the gloves? I predicted this, by the way.
I'm so confused because I haven't seen the video.
You haven't seen the she hasn't seen the video. She has no idea what I'm talking about. So basically, I took your gloves on purpose,
Yeah. Oh.
and I used them to clean a rabbit on purpose,
Uh-huh.
so that I could be an A.
I see. Well, you succeeded.
She completely had no idea until now, even still.
Yeah.
So what did you do after you got back? You figured out I used the gloves. She got mad, and then
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And then what?
I told my sister about it.
I called it, didn't I?
Yeah. And then as a gag for my birthday, she bought me a new pair.
And so in the long run, you got a little bit of excitement out of it. You got to complain. I got to control the complaining. I predicted all this.
Okay.
I did.
Uh-huh.
So basically, you be an A. So if your wife or girlfriend likes drama, and most of them like at least a little bit of drama, I know the women that watch my videos don't like too much drama because they're into outdoor stuff, and so you're probably fairly level-headed. But there are some women out there who are completely not level-headed, and they love drama. So for those men who are out there, I would advise not to be with women who like a lot of drama, because it's exhausting. Right? I mean, you don't
Sure,
find it
sure.
exhausting. You find it, if things are going too well, you make it interesting.
Sure.
Like every woman. And if you don't admit it, then you just don't understand yourself. But anyway, okay, so Courtney got a little bit of drama out of it. She got a brand new pair of gloves from her sister. Because you shouldn't apologize if you're an A. You should stick to it.
Oh my.
Anyway, so I brought the gloves, and Courtney was mad that I brought these gloves because she wanted me to bring the other gloves. But she didn't realize that I have it all under control, and I have my own gloves.
Oh wow. All
You
along.
didn't know that.
That
You didn't know
just
that either.
Seems like backwards. I don't know.
And so you were upset because of these gloves. Now you feel okay.
Yeah, those look like maybe an old pair of mine though.
They are an old pair of yours, but you didn't want them anymore, so I used them.
I see.
So, in the long run, Courtney got to experience the full range of emotions just now.
Okay.
You did.
Awesome.
You got to be upset.
Uh-huh.
You had drama. You got to gossip with your sister. You got a gift from your sister, so you were relieved she cared about you at least. Now you're discovering that I have more dimensions than you thought I ever did, because I kept it all a secret for like weeks.
Oh my goodness.
I set this whole thing up.
Uh-huh.
I brought my own gloves to show that at least I'm not going to make the same mistake twice.
Awesome.
So I have the
Happy about
ability.
that.
Now I have the ability to be tamed of my edge, and be controlled, and be a decent human being.
Thank you.
So I want to wrap this segment up. I hope you enjoyed
Me
it.
too.
I want to wrap this segment up by offering you one final time of doing your duty as a woman in camp, of preparing the game, because historically this is what women did. Men would bring the meat home. They would throw their feet up. No, they wouldn't. They would go cut wood and make the fire, and all the other actual physical labor that needed to be done that women couldn't do, while women processed the game, and made a nice meal out of it, and made the most of what they caught. So do you want to help me
Well,
clean the animal?
once it looks like meat, I will tend to the stew.
So there you go.
Deal?
I'm going to clean this animal, even though it's not my masculine duty to do so. But historically, I think, speaking today, men will take care of processing animals, because women are attached to anything with fur. Correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to take care of this animal, and we'll throw it in the pot, and we're going to try to find a way to open this can up of tomato juice. So somebody gave me an idea on how to do that, so I'm going to do that after. Got to find a rock. Alright,
Oh my.
hope you guys enjoy story time. Yeah?
A number of people told me, or gave me some advice about opening a can without a can opener, obviously. So, gotta say, I really do appreciate when you guys leave helpful comments. I, as much as I want to hear praise, I mean, everybody does, I try not to let any of the negative comments really affect me. I'm kind of over that. I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Not like I ever did, but I guess growing up, I had lots of very unique ideas. And so after a while, you kind of get used to the fact that people kind of look at you a little bit different. So being unique and being different, you hear, I don't know, I wouldn't say I got like a lot of negative comments or ribbing or teasing or anything like that. I was pretty much above that. But I got used to, especially when I started expressing myself more about my ideas, that people would, they would treat you a certain way, or treat you as you were different. So I don't mind being different now, I guess. I kind of get used to it, that I think differently than most people, and I don't want to be normal. And so I do my best not to think normally. But it's kind of a long rant into the fact that I do appreciate the comments that you guys leave that are helpful and that help teach me, and I learn new things. So if you guys are able to give me new advice and new things, and I learn something by reading the comments, I find that really useful. Really productive, I guess, use of my time if I'm reading the comments anyway. I do like hearing that you guys are appreciating things, because obviously that gives me purpose for doing it. And just to reiterate the fact that if you're watching comments and you're just leaving, rude comments, or you can't string 5 words together without leaving a nasty word in between, those comments are getting filtered naturally anyway. I go into my filtered comments because I have it at such a high level right now that, even most of the mundane words and, I guess constructive uses of those words get taken into the same folder, because I do want to keep this kid friendly. As much as I am giving you sort of mixed adult, mixed kid, teen, boy advice, I don't think it's a mature theme to kill an animal or skin an animal. So
you know, maybe some people think otherwise. You think, well, I'm not swearing, but I'm, you know, killing an animal. I mean, kids used to kill animals to feed their family, so it's not something that kids are not capable of understanding. So this is kind of a long segue into the fact that you guys gave me some tips on opening a can. As several people told me this, so I've tended to believe it's probably true, is rub the can, the lip of the can, over the hard surface enough times that if you, I guess, strike it or hit it or something like that, the can just kind of lets it or opens it by itself. You guys also expressed concern with me cooking in the can. Yes, I don't normally actually eat anything out of a can for the reason because it has that plastic liner. Cooking out of the can obviously is going to release that. Maybe when I cooked out of the can last time it gave a bad taste. It's possible. I'm not ruling it out. But let's give this a go, see what happens. Oh. Oh, there we go. Well, that's not the cleanest way to do it, but we're going to presume that's going to leak out a very small hole. I don't think that worked at all. So that didn't work. I'm going to stick my knife in it. As much as I don't want to, I'm not going to rub it on the rock anymore. And the tip is fine, so we'll call that a success. Hey, we finally caught a trout. There we go, little leader. There we go. We're not skunked. That's something. Missed them. So this is where I source my wood, fallen log on the ice here, and you can see that's where the fatwood is, right at the junction connected to the main beam. So what I'm going to do is going to cut the rest of these off and try to salvage a little bit more wood. I'd like to take a nice big piece, but it just won't fit in the stove and I don't have an axe, so what can you do? But these little stumps here will have a lot of fatwood in it.
Got a little bit in there. A little bit in there. It's really thick there. Right, so our rabbit's doing good. Rabbit soup's doing good. Courtney's been stirring it in between reading a book. Okay, so we're not gonna wait for this forever. We're gonna eat some Puddle Lake trout. Maybe that's cheating. We did catch one trout, so I don't feel like it's cheating that badly. Fresh fish. Courtney, you want to clean it?
No, thank you.
Gonna get any fresher than this? Whip the guts. Whip it. And then run your thumb down there. Toss her in the pan. Ready to go. That's it.
Spoons.
Forks are heavy.
Oh my. But so useful.
Dig in.
I don't have a knife. You just want me to eat with my fingers?
You need a knife.
Well.
I did want to go camp on the other side, but it's way too windy today. This side is a lot less windy. I went around the other side and had a look, and it's just complete whiteout snow. It's like being at home.
Kind of.
All the comforts of home.
Hmm. Snowsuits.
Wear your snowsuit indoors.
Regularly.
Alright, we're going to keep eating this. That one didn't even make it out and hit the door. It's good?
Mm-hmm.
Is it better than the one I cooked on a stick?
It's more well done.
Straight up bone with nothing on it. A couple pieces of meat. So we've got a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours, no, not even, maybe an hour of daylight left. So basically the objective now is to get a really good supply of firewood. I didn't process a lot of the wood out in the field. I brought it back because worst case, as I say, I can cut this, with the lamp I can easily cut this stuff, you know, in the dark if it's by the tent. But what I don't want to be having to do is go out in the woods, try to find the right kind of wood, and then cut it and bring it all back. So if I have it here, it's not a problem. But I think I have plenty of wood for overnight, and then tomorrow morning, no problem. I've got a mixture of what looks like some kind of pine, yeah, or conifer and cedar. So, and it's all 100% dry. It's burning really well. I do wish I could have brought some more of that bigger stuff back and split it, but you know, it's pretty hard to cut anyway. So I'll cut a bunch here now, and we'll stack it in the tent. We'll have nice dry firewood throughout the night. It's not super exciting when it's a stupid perch again. I did get the one trout though, so it's not all for nothing. I think we're in the wrong spot actually for trout nowadays. Here we go. The reason I complain about these perch is because they actually don't belong in the lake at all. This is a traditional trout lake that's been fished out from too much pressure over the years because it's accessible, and to still produce fishing opportunities, the kind of fishing opportunities that people like people like fishing for trout. So they've stocked these lakes, but by stocking them, the fish don't reproduce. They just don't know what to do. You know, with some lakes people will say that they'll reproduce, but you know, if these lakes are easily accessible and they get lots of pressure, they're not going to figure out what to do and how to reproduce.
Yep.
I missed it. Cut the whole thing by yourself?
No, you started it.
You just use your arms.
I'm so weak.
Upper body strength.
That's helpful, thank you.
You're pushing too hard on the saw. Just light pressure. Let the saw do everything. There you go. And faster. There you go. Faster still. And the whole saw. The whole saw. No pressure. Would you rather cook?
Oh, shush.
That actually felt like maybe a better one. The line's been going non-stop all day. We haven't even bothered to put another hole in. It's been all perch.
You'll be the Easter egg.
Yeah.
There's a man walking back there.
We got constant snow again. You see it, the light's kind of fading, but behind me is like straight white out all the way. White out, white out, white out, white out. Can't even see the back of the lake over there. But we're just about to dig into our dinner. It's been stewing for a long time, so gonna dig into that. And actually I put the note out to Jeremy, and Jeremy stopped in, so he's gonna join us for some rabbit stew, which is kind of cool. He just stopped in on the way back from work. Courtney and Jared talking in the tent, if you can hear talking in the background. But yeah, so we're gonna dig into that rabbit. The lines didn't really produce too much. That was a perch line. Jeremy came and he helped me punch another hole over here behind me. That line hasn't gone off yet. Oh, there goes the perch line again. I'm not even gonna run. Yeah, but that auger is tough. It's not biting very well, so I think he's got the set. It's Jeremy's auger, so he's got the set on the blades incorrect, so they're not biting very well. But I'll have a look at this line and go inside and grab a bite to eat finally, and we'll see how that recipe turned out. So Jeremy's here.
Hey.
He showed up. He walked in 5 hours into Puddle Lake number 2.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Actually, we're really close to Jeremy's house, and since Jeremy showed up, I brought some
Thank you. That's wonderful.
special ambiance.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
It's not because Courtney's here.
Yeah.
It's because Jeremy showed up. So there we go. Look at that.
Nice.
Fancy.
Super fancy.
We got a special guest, Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
It's making me feel really special.
We can eat by candlelight. How about that? So thanks, Big Chef 22. We're gonna give it a shot. I was lazy and I didn't put all the spices you recommended because we're just not that good. We're not qualified to cook yet. So you just make a mess of everything. So hopefully it's fall off the bone. Courtney is first time eating rabbit, and she actually caught it herself.
Oh, yes.
Do you get fall off the bone rabbit?
In a slow cooker, I do.
How long does it take?
I don't know, you put it in the morning, you eat it at night.
Yeah. But this has been going on for
Hours.
how many hours? Lots of hours.
It does smell pretty good.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost not chewy.
5.5.
5.5 hours.
Oh, I thought you were giving it 5.5 stars.
It's delicious, though.
So that's tomato juice,
Oh, yeah.
bay leaf, carrots, celery, potato,
Onion.
onion. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. It's good.
Yep.
Good.
Oh, I didn't try the rabbit yet. It was too hot.
Needs a bit more salt, I think, maybe. Well, we didn't actually put salt in, so it could be why.
Yep. That's good evidence.
You got anything to say? Go check out your channel.
Yeah, check my channel out.
He came all the way out here for the shout out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have come.
No, I would have been at home playing Xbox.
One wild crafter
The hair's good.
on YouTube. Yeah, it's not bad, eh?
Why are we sleeping head to foot?
Just so I can put wood in the fire if I get cold at night.
You didn't want to push the cots up together?
No.
You know it's a feature with the Teton cots. You can shove them up together and it can turn into a double bed.
Well, maybe we'll try that at home, but not out here.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the most comfortable we've been on a survival challenge.
Well, that is true. It's pretty comf. These are great cots.
Your headlamp shining right into my feet. In camera. There you go.
Your flashlight's shining right into my eyes.
So people can see you. So we're gonna do for entertainment.
I'm going to read my book. What
To
are you
me?
going to do?
You're gonna read my book to me?
Sure.
Alright, so set up. Look at that. It's almost like a camp. And you can see my feet. Warm by the fire. It's not bad, actually. I like these cots. These cots make it seem like we're actually
in a cottage.
Not camping. I know.
It's like not camping. You-
Glamping.
You go outside and it's all desolate and cold and windy, and then in here it's like 20 degrees, t-shirt weather. It's pretty cozy. I'm a pretty big fan of the cots. I want to go. I'm looking forward to the fall because I think it would be fun for Jeremy and I to go on like a grouse hunting expedition with some fishing involved and set up a base camp, you know, in those first few fall days where it starts to get below zero and you know, the grouse season's open. The early birds, those are the ones that are fun to hunt. They're not quite spoiled yet and they don't know what's up. Maybe a deer hunt too would be cool. But and a bear hunt. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you can tell what their setup is like, but I got a pillow and everything. And basically that's how it goes. There's a cot, probably about 18 inches off the ground. You warm, Courtney?
Mm-hmm. Very.
You comfy?
Mm-hmm. Very.
So there you go. Recommendations for the Teton. If you can afford the weight, bring them. And yeah, we need to do more exploration to maybe some better fishing holes that aren't full of perch. So maybe that's a plan for next time. Alrighty, I think this is officially good night. Even though it's a little early for full sleep, but Corey's gonna read a bit and I'm gonna, I don't know, devise plans to take over the world, I suppose.